Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another exciting tutorial here on my channel. If you are new here, you're welcome to Bimsy Styling YouTube channel. So in today's tutorial, we'll be recreating this dress right in the middle. The style inspiration was gotten from Pinterest and was sent to me by a client for me to recreate. And as you can see, the one which I recreated is right there on both the left and the right side. And so it's a fitted and a flare dress, and today's tutorial is actually a beginners friendly tutorial. So if this sounds like something you're interested in learning, do well to stick to the end of the tutorial. And guys, if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, do well to hit on the subscribe button down below. Turn on your bell notification so that when another video pops up, you'll be notified. So now let's get right into the tutorial. So right here on the table, I have the fabric which I'll be working with. Is actually a flowery crepe fabric. And for this dress, I'll be making use of 2.5 yards of this fabric. So first, I'll be starting with the front, and then I'll place my fabric on fold. And to get the exact measurement which I'll be using to fold my fabric, all I did was to divide my biggest measurement, which happens to be the hip measurement, by 4, and then I went ahead to add up 2 inches for the seam allowance. So this was exactly what I used in folding the fabric. So after folding my fabric, the next thing I did was to get the starting line, and to do this I came down from the top of the fabric by 2 inches, and then I drew a straight line at that point. Now from the starting point line, I'll go ahead and get the length for the dress. And remember that this dress is actually a fitted and flare dress, so we need to work with the nail measurement. So what I did first was to get the shoulder to the nail, and then I marked it. And then from the nail, I came up by 6 inches. You can see me counting there. From the nail, I came up by 6 inches, and then I also marked that point. So this is the length which I'll be working with for the fitted part of this dress. So on that point, I'll go ahead and also mark the straight line like so. And now that that is done, I'll go ahead and take the measurements for the dress. So again, from the starting point line, I will go ahead and take my armhole, which is 9 inches for this dress. I'll mark that like so. And then I would also mark the half length, that is the shoulder to the half length. I'll go ahead and mark that point as well. And the next point which I will mark is the shoulder to the hip line. So I would also mark it like so. Now, after marking all of my points, the next thing I'll do is to take my round measurement, but then I'll be starting from the top line, and I'll go ahead and mark the shoulder divided by 2 right on the top line. I went ahead to mark the shoulder divided by 2 and added ½ inch for the seam allowance, that's the joining of the sleeve. And then on the armhole line, I also marked the same measurement, that shoulder divided by 2 plus ½ inch. I'll connect the 2 points together like so. Right now on the chest line, I'll be taking the bust measurement divided by 4, and I'll add up extra 1.5 inches as the allowance for the dress. On the waistline, I would also be taking the waist measurement divided by 4, and then I'll mark it. And I'll also add extra 1.5 inches as the seam allowance for the dress. And on the hip line, I would also take the hip measurement divided by 4, and then I'll be marking that as well. And I would add up 1.5 inches as the seam allowance for this dress. Now to shaping the nail part of this dress, remember that we came up by 6 inches to get our new nail line. That is, we came up by 6 inches from the original nail to get the new nail line. Now to shaping that part of the dress, all I did was to deduct 1.5 inches from the hip measurement. Now the hip in this case is 11.5. That is after dividing it by 4, I got 11.5. So I went ahead to minus 1.5 inches from the 11.5, and then I add 10 inches left. So what I marked on the nail line was 10 inches, and then I added extra 1.5 inches for the seam allowance. So that was how I shaped out the nail. And as you can see, I've gone ahead to connect all the points together from the armhole to the waist to the hip and then to the nail line. So you can see what I have there. But in case you don't want it too fitted around the nail, you can just deduct 1 inches from the hip measurement. Now on the shoulder, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. For the neck width, I used 3.5 inches, and then I'll be connecting from that 3.5 inches to the 1 inch at the shoulder slope. Then I will then get the mid armhole. At the mid armhole, I'll go in by ½ an inch for the shaping of the armhole, and with my curved ruler, I'll connect from the shoulder slope to the mid armhole, and then to the bust measurement on the chest line. So right now I'll go ahead and cut out all of my markings right there. So here is what we have after I was done cutting out the front. So to get the neck, I came down from the starting point line by 6.5 inches to get the v-neck line for this dress. So I marked 6.5 inches, and with my ruler I'll go ahead and connect the 6.5 inches to the 3.5 inches neck width that we have there. So after doing that, I ensured I pinned it down because this fabric is actually a lightweight fabric. So before doing any form of cutting, I need to pin down so that I don't have that part shifting or shaking or anything at all. So I went ahead to cut out the exact neckline which I have there. So right now I'm done with the front, and to cut the back, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric as well. And so I'll place the front on the folded fabric like so to cut out the back. So for the back, after placing my fabric on fold and also placing the front on the folded fabric, I went ahead to cut out the exact that I have from the front, that is from the nail line and also to the side. So I'll cut through like so for the back. But then when cutting the fabric, I won't get to the center back. I only cut through the shoulder, armhole, the side, and also the nail. And as you can see right there, this is what we have. So for the center back, I'll go ahead and extend my half length. I'd also extend the hip line like so, and then the next thing I would do is to mark 2 inches right there at the center back. I'll mark 2 inches till I get to the hem, and I'll connect the points together. So like I said, I'll connect all the points together, all the 2 inches marking which I have at the center back. I'll connect it even to the top like so. After connecting, I'll go ahead and cut it out so I can open up the center back. I'll cut on the exact 2 inches line which I have there. And this is what we have after cutting. So the next thing I would do is to tighten the center back. So remember that we extended the half length, we extended it. So on the half length there, I came in by 0.75 inches, and then I'll connect from the half length to the top. That is, I'll connect with my ruler like so from the half length to the top. That's the 0.75 inches which I use in tightening that part will be connected like so. Now I would also extend that 0.75 inches to my hip line. That is to tighten the lower part as well. So after doing this, I would then do the tightening for the nail area. So on the nail area, I would also go in by 0.75, and then I'll connect it from that point to the hip line. So I would go ahead to tighten that part as well. So all of this tightening is necessary so that the dress can sit well at the back. So it can sit well at the back and we don't have any form of folding on the back, at the back rather. So I went ahead to cut out all the shapings which I just did, which I just marked at the center back, starting from the nail line 0.75, extending it to the hip line, and also cutting through from the hip line to the waist tightening of 0.75 inches as well. And then from the 0.5 inches on the waistline, I also cut it through to the top. So you can see me following through that line like so. So like I said, this fabric is actually lightweight, so you need to be careful when you are doing all of the cutting. So you can see what our back looks like now. It is no longer straight, so we have the back tightening done already. So now I'll go ahead and extend my neckline for the back. I came down, that is the top. So I came down from that point by 2 inches. So I came down by 2 inches, and then I'll go ahead and use my curved ruler to shape out the neckline. So you at this point, don't get confused. I actually extended that top line coming from the shoulder from the front. I extended it to the center back, and then I came down from that line by 2 inches. So the extension that we have at the top of that line is not actually part of this draft. I hope you get that. If you have any question, you can drop it at the comment section. I'll be there to attend to the questions. So this is what the back looks like. So I'll take out my pins now, and then I would also cut out my lining for the back and the front. Just the same way I've cut out the back and front, I'll go ahead and cut out the lining. So as you can see, this is my lining, I'll be cutting it out like so, the exact pattern for the front and the exact pattern for the back. But then again, if you don't want to make use of the lining, you can actually use a facing for this dress. But because I said this fabric is lightweight, that was why I actually went ahead to lining this dress. But then, like I said, you can use a facing for yours. So here I'm done cutting the lining for both the front and the back, as you can see. So we proceed to the next phase. So for the next phase, it will be the sewing part, and we need to couple this dress together before we can go ahead to cut out the flare part of the dress. So what I'll be doing is to place my lining on the main fabric like so, and I went ahead to secure the neckline with my pins. I'll take it to the sewing machine right now and sew on 1/2 inch. That is the lining and the main fabric together at the neck region. I'll follow through the V shape which I have there. So after doing that, I will turn the whole fabric with my lining. I'll be turning it with my lining. The same thing will be repeated for the back. And here for the back, I've gone ahead to also pin down the neckline. That is the lining and the main fabric together. And what I'll be doing as well is to sew down the neckline with 1/2 inch, and then I would also sew down the center back with 1/2 inch. I would sew it on the side as well, and so the part which will be left open is just the armhole and the nail. So the same thing is applicable for the other side of the back and also for the front. So at this point, I've turned my main fabric and lining together, and this is what the back looks like. The center back has been closed, the neckline has been closed, and the side, like I said. So I'll place the two back together like so, and then I'll pin it down at the center back so that I can sew down that part and also attach my zipper. As you can see that I still maintain the shape that we gave the center back. So the center back is not totally straight. We have some shapes there to tighten the center back. So I'm pinning it down. So after pinning it down, I went ahead to take out my zipper allowance for the back. And at that point, I also went ahead to shape my back fabric. So this is it, and I marked it like so. I'll do the same thing on the waistline. I'll take out the zipper allowance and also mark out what I have for the waist. That is the waist measurement divided by 4. So I went ahead to mark that as well on the waist. So I'll repeat the same thing on the hip. On the hip line, I will take out the zipper allowance for the hip part and also do the shaping for the hip. That is the hip divided by 4. I'll go ahead and mark it out. I'll extend the same thing to the nail line. I'll also shape my nail line. Remember that for the nail line, we actually deducted 1.5 inches from the hip. So this is the exact measurement which I'll be using on the nail. So I went ahead to connect all the points together like so, extending it to the neckline, and this part will be for the zipper. So at this point, I will go ahead now, after marking this together, I'll go ahead now and attach my zipper to the back. After shaping the center back, that is taking out the zipper allowance for this dress, I also went ahead to shape the side, and this is the zipper I'll be working with, and I'll go ahead to fix the zipper following through the shape that we have at the center back. I'll fix my zipper as well to that part. So this is what the back looks like after attaching my zipper to the center back. So at this point, you can see what we have, and I've also closed up the other part of the center back. So I'll place my front on the back like so, and then I'll go ahead and match up the back and the front together at the side. On both sides, I'll also pin it down. So right now I'm done pinning both sides together. I'll go ahead and stitch on the sides after shaping, and then I'll close up the shoulder as well. So this is it after closing up the shoulder and also stitching the sides of the dress. So this is what we have. So after closing up the sides, the next thing is to take the measurement around the nail, and here I have about 20 inches. That is for the front. So for the back, another 20 inches, which makes a total of 40 inches. Now this 40 inches will be used to cut the flare part of this dress. And then to cut the flare, the first thing I did was to place my fabric on fold, as you can see. And the next thing I would do is to further place it on bias. So this flare is actually 180-degree, and it's not a full flare. So that is why we are placing it on bias to cut the 180-degree for the flare. Now to get the radius of your flare all you need to do is whatever the circumference you are working with, in this case I'm working with 40 inches, all you need to do is to divide by 3.14, and whatever that gives you is what you will use as the radius for your flay. That is a standard. It is a standard. Divide your circumference by 3.14, and then whatever you have is what you go ahead and mark as the radius. So my result is what I am marking here. After dividing 40 by 3.14, I went ahead to mark it out, and that is the radius for this circle. So after doing this, I'll go ahead and determine the length which I want for the flay, and in this case I used 12 inches as the length. So from that point which I marked the radius, I came down from that point by 12 inches and then I marked it. After getting that point, that 12 inches marked, I'll then go back to the tip and then see what I have on the tape rule. And whatever I have on the tape rule will be extended all around to get the other part of the flay. So you can see that I am extending that part as well. I'll take it from that end to the other end of this flay. And once I have gotten that I have, I'll go ahead and also cut it out. So here I am cutting out the flay that is at the tip right there. And after cutting that, I'll also take out the radius at the top. So this is what we have for the flay. This is what the lower part of the dress will look like. That is the flay. So I'll use this to also cut the lining, because I actually lining this part as well. Like I said, lining this fabric is actually optional. So I chose to lining it. You can as well use facing and also leave out the flay without lining. So here is the dress, and this is the lower part. I've also attached my sleeve to the dress. So it's just a basic sleeve. That is why I didn't take you through the process of cutting the sleeve. So here is the flay for the dress, and as you can see, I've also turned it with my lining and also overlocked the edges. So right there, I'll just go ahead and get the center, match up the center of the flay to the center of the dress, just like so, and then I'll pin it down, and I'll secure it down with my pins, and then I'll take the flay round the hem of the dress and also pin it down. So this is it after holding it down with my pins. So the next thing I would do is to take it to the sewing machine and sew on 1/2 inch, joining the flay to the body of the dress. And voila, this is what we have. Thank you all for watching today's tutorial. I'll see you all in my next tutorial. Bye.